What's going on, everyone? I appreciate you stopping by and checking out this Fallout 76 video. You may be wondering, how in the world did I get so many bloatflies trapped inside a building like this? I have to say, first off, this was inspired by the Deathclaw Labyrinth. I don't know if y'all have ever seen that, but basically this guy made a maze and tricked low-level players into entering his maze, which contained a Deathclaw. I have to say that was a very interesting build. This is a spin-off over that creation. I'm obviously not using a Deathclaw. Instead, I have about 100 glowing bloatflies inside as a lovely surprise for whoever decides to visit. And not to mention, I have a switch up above the pit that I can flip to close the door behind the visitor. So there will be no lockpicking your way out of this one. Of course, if you are a higher level, you're going to be able to take out these glowing blowflies because they are only level 27. But if you come in here no higher than like 30 or something, you may be demolished. Because first off, there is about 100 of these, maybe even more. And heck, if you wanted to take the time, you could spawn way more than what I'm previewing here. So yeah, with that in mind, there's going to be a lot of damage being dealt to you at once from all these glowing bloatflies. Second off, they do have a ranged attack, so even if you try running from them to keep your distance, you will still be attacked. Third, they give off radiation since they are glowing. Yeah, this can be a pretty deadly trap. The only downfall is you are going to have to be prepared to repair your walls because they do attack your building as well. And the more you have in here, of course, the faster they are going to destroy your walls. I highly suggest using metal walls if you do try this trap, of course. And I know this is going to sound odd, but not all of them attack your building. Only a select few for some reason. Some of them are friendly to you, which is pretty cool. Okay, so now let's go ahead and get into how exactly I got this many bloatflies inside this base. You're going to need a special modification on a syringer. That modification is a bloatfly larva barrel, which you get this from dismantling syringers. It could take you a pretty long time to actually get this modification. And again, you could get it pretty fast by just dismantling like 3 of them. You never know. This is really all about RNG on whether or not you get this from dismantling the syringer. And no, in case you may be wondering, wait, the syringer is called Lord of the Flies? No, I just renamed it that. It's actually just called syringer still, which can be kind of confusing if you go to scrap your weaponry. You could accidentally scrap the syringer with the modification on. So I just decided to name it so I don't get it confused with the regular ones. If you do want this to play around with, I just suggest going up to a weapons workbench and just crafting a bunch of syringers. It's going to cost you 2 adhesive, 2 screws, and 10 steel. And once you make the syringer, just go and scrap it at the weapons workbench. And once again, you'll have a chance at getting this bloatfly larva syringe barrel modification. And how this weapon works, as you can see when you get the mod on it, the description for it says chance on death for target to spawn a bloatfly. So all you have to do is just inject a creature, not a robot, an organic creature, with a syringe from this modded weapon, and once you take out that enemy, it will actually spawn a blowfly. And keep in mind, the more players that shoot at the target with this modded syringer, it will actually spawn more blowflies. It will spawn the same amount of players that use the modded weapon to inject the enemy. So say for instance 7 players have this modification on their syringer and shoot that same specific target. Once you take out that said target, it will spawn 7 bloatflies. Now you can't just shoot the enemy repeatedly and then how many times you shot that enemy, it will spawn that many. No, multiple different players have to shoot it once. It doesn't work like that. It would be cool if you could just shoot it 3 times and that would spawn 3 bloatflies, but no, sadly, that's not how it works. Now, how exactly we got these trapped inside a base is by one of us sacrificing ourselves. Now, it could be more than one because that does speed up the process. It just depends on how many players you're working with here to get this set up. As you can see here, I just got wanted by picking a locked door and had my buddies shoot me with the larva syringer. And then I just got taken out afterwards, and that would spawn the blowflies inside this vicinity. So we just rinsed and repeated that over and over until we had a good amount. And I'm not kidding. we had at least 100 in this little area. Because as you can see here, at the end of all this, we decided to take them out. And look, we got up to 3,000 experience. 3,000! So not only can this be something fun to trick maybe some low-level players, but this could also be a little experience farm. And not to mention, sometimes you even spawn legendaries. Like, I managed to get like 8 or 9 legendaries. One of them was a 2-shot combat shoddy. Now keep in mind, the legendaries aren't going to be super high because the glowing bloatflies are only level 27, but still, that's worth script. Or hey, if you maybe make a new character, this could be something you could use to help level yourself up. Or maybe if you're feeling generous, you could give some of these low-level legendaries away to some low-level players. I mean, of course, that just all depends. I'm just saying, in the end, this is just some really easy script. Very lazy way to get legendaries, but hey, it's possible. This is proof. And yeah, sometimes a 3-star can even spawn. It's crazy. But yeah, not only that, you have an unlimited supply of food too that you can cook, the glowing meats and the bloatfly meats. And also, you have an unlimited supply of acid. You can break down bloatfly glands into acid, which is pretty useful. And not to mention, the glands are used to create this special modification for the syringer. As you can see here, it's going to require 10 of them to actually make this bloatfly larva syringer barrel mod. So yeah, with that in mind, maybe you could even sell this around to the community. If you do decide to do this little trick with this mod, you could possibly sell it in your vending machine. The only downfall is it just says syringer. Like I mentioned before, that's the reason why I changed mine to Lord of the Flies, because I didn't want to accidentally dismantle it. It only says syringer, sadly. It would be cool if it had like the modification somewhere in the weapon title. I feel like that would help sales go by a little better for this, but yeah, sadly, it doesn't. Still, nonetheless, a really, really cool weapon to play around with. And honestly, I didn't know about this mod, and I'm level 200 something. And all the players I was playing with as well that are also really high didn't even know about this either. Actually, one of my buddies just randomly joined and recently introduced this to me, and I was like, all right, yeah, we can definitely have a little bit of fun with this. But yeah, after I figured out about this and got all the footage, I decided to do a little bit more research to see how exactly you got this. It turns out it is by dismantling syringers. But I also saw a Reddit post that says, what's the point of this mod? Why would I want to spawn a bloatfly after an enemy dies? And they were saying basically it seemed pretty pointless. Well, here's some fun that you can actually have with this syringer mod if you do have it. You can get an unlimited supply of food, and also you can get an unlimited supply of acid, and also you can get an unlimited supply of legendaries. Keep in mind though, the legendaries aren't going to spawn as frequent, but it is possible. It's still an unlimited supply, because once you spawn a bloatfly, all you have to do is just shoot it again and then kill that bloatfly, and then it'll spawn another bloatfly. It'll just keep reproducing. But if you have at least one other player with you, you'll be able to do this setup that I just showed you in this video, this glowing bloatfly base trap, which I thought was pretty unique. I haven't seen anyone else do this, so I had to take advantage of that and actually put it into existence. Also, I just thought it'd be a better way to showcase this modification. Also, keep in mind, you don't have to continue to sacrifice yourself inside the base trap that you're making. You're just gonna have to do it once, and then once you get at least one bloatfly in there, just have you and your buddy shoot that one bloatfly, and then 2 will spawn, and then repeat that process over and over until you have however many you're aiming for. The more people though that are participating in this that have the actual modification on the syringer, the faster the process will go, of course. But yeah, that's about wrapping up this. Hopefully you found this video entertaining. If you did, consider leaving a like. Your all support is greatly appreciated. As always though, of course, you know, that's totally up to you. Hopefully at least you still found this enjoyable. I'm out of here though, everybody. Thanks for taking the time, watching and listening. Until next time, peace.